He was told he could never be a father. So when he saw her on that hospital bed, screaming, bleeding, bringing 2 tiny lives into the world, he forgot how to breathe. 2 boys, identical to him, born from the woman who disappeared without a trace 9 months ago. But the monitor beside her was beeping too slow. Her lips were blue, and the doctor's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. She has hours, maybe less. He built an empire on control, but he couldn't control this. The woman he never stopped loving was dying, and the sons he never knew existed were crying for a mother who might not survive the night. Everything he ever wanted, right in front of him. Everything he ever feared, about to be ripped away. The call came at 3:47 a.m. Unknown number, distorted voice. St. Catherine's Hospital, labor and delivery, 3rd floor. She's there, and so are they. Dante Moretti didn't ask questions. He was in the car in 40 seconds, engine roaring through empty streets, bodyguards scrambling to follow. His mind was a war zone. She. He hadn't heard her name spoken aloud in 9 months, hadn't let himself think it. But every night, in the silence between power and sleep, he saw her face. The way she looked at him that last morning. The way she kissed him like she was memorizing him. The way she was gone by sunset. No note, no explanation, no trace. He tore the city apart looking for her. Every contact, every favor, every threat. Nothing. It was like she had never existed. And now, someone was telling him she was in a hospital, giving birth. His hands tightened on the steering wheel. It wasn't possible. He was sterile. Doctors had confirmed it twice. A childhood illness had stolen that future from him before he even understood what it meant. He had accepted it, built his empire without the promise of heirs, told himself he didn't need softness, didn't need love, didn't need her. But he had never stopped wanting her. The hospital appeared like a ghost in the fog. Dante abandoned the car at the entrance. His men moved like shadows behind him. Silent, deadly, efficient. 3rd floor. Labor and delivery. The sterile smell of antiseptic and fear. A nurse tried to stop him. He looked at her once. She stepped aside. He moved through the corridor like a predator, his coat billowing, his jaw locked, his heart pounding so hard it felt like violence. And then he heard it. A scream. Raw. Desperate. Familiar. Her. He broke into a run. The door was half open. And there she was. Amara. On a hospital bed, her body arched in pain, her face pale and glistening with sweat. Her hands gripped the rails like she was holding on to life itself. A doctor barked orders. Nurses moved in controlled chaos. And Dante stood frozen in the doorway. Because he could see it. Even through the pain, even through the blood and tears. He could see the truth written all over her. She was giving birth. And she was dying. The monitor beside her beeped in a slow, irregular rhythm. Her breaths were shallow. Her lips had a faint blue tint. One of the nurses glanced up and saw him. Her eyes widened. "Sir, you can't be in here." "Push, Amara! One more!" Amara's scream tore through the room, and then a cry, small, fierce, alive. Dante's knees almost gave out. The doctor lifted a tiny, wriggling body, covered in blood and vernix, fists already clenched tight. "It's a boy," the doctor said, voice tight with urgency. But Amara didn't relax. Her body convulsed again. "There's another one." Dante's world tilted. Another one. Twins. The second baby came faster. Another cry split the air, identical to the first. Another boy, small and furious and perfect. The nurses worked quickly, cleaning the babies, checking their vitals. But Dante couldn't look away from Amara. Her body had gone limp. Her eyes were closed. The monitor's beeping was growing slower. "She's crashing. Get the crash cart. Amara, stay with us." Chaos erupted. Dante finally moved. He shoved past the nurses, past the doctor shouting orders, and grabbed Amara's hand. Her skin was cold. Her pulse was barely there. "Amara." His voice cracked. He hadn't spoken her name aloud in 9 months. Her eyes fluttered open, barely. She looked at him, and for a moment, the pain in her gaze wasn't physical. It was grief. Dante. Her voice was a whisper, a ghost. Why didn't you tell me? He was shaking. His hands that had killed, that had ruled, that had never trembled, were shaking. I couldn't. She closed her eyes. I'm sorry. The monitor flatlined. And Dante Moretti, the man who controlled an empire, who had never begged for anything in his life, fell to his knees. They brought her back. Barely. The defibrillator jolted her body twice before her heart found its rhythm again. Weak. Fragile. But beating. Dante stood against the wall, chest heaving, fists clenched so tight his knuckles were white. He watched them stabilize her, watched them move her to ICU, watched them take the twins to the NICU. And he didn't move. Couldn't. One of his men approached carefully. Boss, we need to leave. Hospital security is... I'm not leaving. His voice was ice. The man nodded and stepped back. Dante looked down at his hands. There was blood on them. Her blood. From when he grabbed her hand. From when he held on like he could anchor her to life by sheer will. He had built his empire on control. But here, in this cold, fluorescent hallway, he had none. A doctor approached. Older, tired, grim. Are you family? Dante's jaw tightened. Yes. It wasn't a lie. Not anymore. The doctor glanced at the clipboard in his hands. She has a congenital heart defect. Severe. She shouldn't have carried the pregnancy to term. The strain on her heart. He trailed off. Dante's voice was low. Deadly. Is she going to die? The doctor met his eyes. Without a transplant? Yes. Soon. The words hit like bullets. How soon? Days. Maybe a week if we can stabilize her. Dante turned and walked away. Not because he was giving up, but because if he stayed, he would break something. Or someone. He found the NICU on the 2nd floor. Through the glass window he could see them. 2 tiny boys in side-by-side incubators. Wires and monitors. But healthy. Strong. He stepped closer. And froze. Because even through the glass, even with their eyes closed, he could see it. They looked exactly like him. Dark hair. Olive skin. The same stubborn set to their tiny jaws. His sons. His. The impossible made flesh. A nurse noticed him standing there and came over, clipboard in hand. Are you the father? Dante's throat was tight. Yes. They're doing well. Strong lungs. Good weight. We'll keep them under observation for a few days, but barring complications, they should be able to go home soon. Home. The word felt foreign. He didn't have a home. He had a fortress. A compound. A place built for war, not for cradles and lullabies. The nurse smiled gently. They'll need names for the birth certificates. Dante stared at the twins. He hadn't thought about names. Hadn't thought past the shock, the fear, the anger. But now they were real. I'll come back, he said quietly. The nurse nodded. Dante walked back to the ICU. Amara was behind glass too now, machines breathing for her, IV lines snaking into her arms. Her face was peaceful. Too peaceful. He wanted to smash the glass, wanted to demand answers, wanted to know why she ran, why she hid, why she didn't trust him. But all he could do was stand there and watch her slip away. One of his men approached again. Boss, we have a situation. Dante didn't look away from Amara. Talk. Anonymous tip. Someone knew she was here, knew about the twins, knew you'd come. Dante's blood turned to ice. Who? We don't know yet, but whoever it is, they wanted you here. A setup or a message. Dante's mind raced. If someone knew about Amara, about the twins, then they were already in danger. His world didn't allow for softness. And now the 2 things he never thought he'd have were the most vulnerable targets in the city. He turned to his second in command. I want this floor locked down. No one in or out without my approval. Get our people in every hallway. Every exit. I want eyes on the twins and on her 24/7. Done. And find out who made that call. The man nodded and disappeared. Dante looked back at Amara. She had run to protect them. But she had also run because she knew what his life meant, knew that love and violence couldn't coexist. And now he had hours to prove her wrong. Morning light crept through the hospital blinds. Dante hadn't slept. He sat in a chair outside the ICU, spine straight, eyes sharp. His men had secured the floor. No one got past them. But it didn't ease the knot in his chest. A cardiologist came by at 7 a.m. young, nervous, clearly briefed on who Dante was. Mr. Moretti? Dante stood. Talk. The doctor swallowed. Her heart is failing faster than we anticipated. The pregnancy accelerated the deterioration. Without a transplant, how do I get her one? She's on the list, but her blood type is rare and her condition is critical. Even if a heart became available today, the surgery itself is high risk. She might not survive it. Dante's jaw clenched. What are her chances without it? The doctor hesitated. 0. Silence. And with it? 30%, maybe less. Dante's hands curled into fists. Do whatever it takes. Money is not an issue. The doctor nodded quickly and left. Dante walked to the NICU. The twins were awake this time. One of them was crying, high-pitched, angry. The other stared quietly at the ceiling, tiny fists clenched. A nurse was adjusting their blankets. Dante stepped inside. The nurse looked up, startled. Sir, you need to wash your hands and... He was already at the sink. He scrubbed in silence, then approached the incubators. The crying twin looked at him and stopped. Just stopped. Stared. Like he knew. Dante's breath caught. He reached out slowly and placed his hand against the plastic. The baby's tiny fingers stretched toward him. They didn't touch, but it felt like they did. The nurse spoke softly. They're strong. Fighters. Dante didn't look away from his sons. Like their mother. The nurse smiled gently. Have you chosen names? He had. Somewhere between the darkness and the dawn he had. Luca, he said, nodding to the quieter twin. And Marco. The nurse typed into her tablet. Beautiful names. Dante stayed there for an hour, just watching them, memorizing every detail. Because if Amara didn't survive, he would be all they had. And he didn't know how to be soft, didn't know how to be safe. He only knew how to be a weapon. But for them, he would learn. At noon, one of his men found him. Boss, she's awake. Dante was moving before the sentence finished. He reached the ICU in seconds. The doctor was inside, checking her vitals. Amara's eyes were open, tired, glassy, but aware. She saw him through the glass, and her expression broke, not with relief, with sorrow. The doctor stepped out. You can go in, but keep it short. She needs rest. Dante didn't wait. He pushed through the door. The room smelled like disinfectant and dying hope. Amara watched him approach. Her voice was hoarse. You shouldn't be here. He sat in the chair beside her bed. Where else would I be? She closed her eyes. Dante, please, why didn't you tell me? His voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of 9 months. She opened her eyes. Because I knew what you'd do. What would I do? This. She gestured weakly at the room, at him. Take over, control everything, turn my life into a prison to keep me safe. He leaned forward. You're dying, Amara. I know. Her voice cracked. I've known for a year. The words hit him like a freight train. A year? She nodded. I found out 2 months before I met you. I had maybe 2 years left, 3 if I was lucky. And you didn't think I deserved to know? I didn't think you needed the burden. He stood abruptly. Burden? His voice was rising. You think you're a burden? In your world? Yes. She met his eyes. You can't love something and keep it, Dante. Not in the life you live. I didn't want to be another casualty of your empire. So you ran. So I ran. Her breathing was labored. And then I found out I was pregnant. And I knew, if you found out, you'd never let me go. You'd lock me away. You'd suffocate me trying to protect me. And I'd die anyway. But I'd die in a cage. Dante's hands were shaking again. You don't know that. Yes, I do. She reached for his hand. Her fingers were cold. I loved you, Dante. I still do. But I couldn't watch you destroy yourself trying to save me. He gripped her hand. You should have let me try. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I'm sorry. The monitor beeped steadily. But too slow. Always too slow. Dante's voice was raw. What do you want me to do? She looked at him. Really looked. Take care of them. When I'm gone. You're not going anywhere. Dante. You're not. He stood. I'm going to find you a heart. I'm going to keep you alive. And then you're going to tell me every damn thing you were too afraid to say. She smiled. Sad. Beautiful. You can't control everything. He leaned down and kissed her forehead. Watch me. And he left. Because if he stayed, he would fall apart. And he couldn't afford that. Not yet. Dante didn't sleep. He made calls instead. 37 calls in 6 hours. To surgeons in Switzerland, transplant specialists in Berlin, black market contacts in Eastern Europe. He didn't care about legality. He cared about results. His men worked in shifts, guarding the ICU, the NICU, every entrance and exit. The hospital had become his fortress whether they liked it or not. By evening, he had 3 leads on potential donor hearts. None of them were legal. All of them were expensive. He didn't hesitate. Get them all. I want options. His second-in-command, Victor, stood in the hallway with him. Boss, even if we get a heart, transport, surgery, recovery, it's risky. Dante's voice was ice. Everything is risky. Do it anyway. Victor nodded and walked away, phone already to his ear. Dante returned to the NICU. The twins were sleeping now. Luca had his tiny fist pressed against his cheek. Marco's mouth was slightly open, his chest rising and falling in perfect rhythm. So small, so fragile. Dante pressed his hand against the glass. He had killed men for far less than what the world had done to Amara. But there was no one to kill here. No enemy to destroy. Just time. And it was slipping through his fingers like blood. A soft voice behind him. They're beautiful. He turned. A woman stood there. Mid-50s, kind eyes, hospital volunteer badge on her chest. They look just like you, she said with a warm smile. Dante didn't respond. The woman stepped closer, looking through the glass. First time being a father? He hesitated. Yes. She nodded knowingly. It's terrifying, isn't it? Loving something that much. Dante's jaw tightened. I don't know how. The woman looked at him. How to what? Be what they need. She studied him for a moment. You're here, aren't you? That's not enough. It's everything. She placed a hand on his arm gently. The world will tell you that love is about being perfect. But it's not. It's about showing up. Every single day. Even when you're scared. Even when you don't have the answers. Dante stared at the twins. Their mother is dying. The woman's expression softened. Then you love them twice as hard. She squeezed his arm once and walked away. Dante stayed there, alone, with 2 sleeping boys and a war raging inside his chest. At midnight, Amara's vitals crashed again. Dante was in the hallway when the alarms went off. He ran. Doctors and nurses flooded into the ICU room. He tried to follow. A nurse blocked him. Sir, you need to stay outside. He grabbed her wrist, not hard, but firm. That's the mother of my children. I'm not staying anywhere. The nurse looked into his eyes. Whatever she saw there made her step aside. Dante entered the room, Chaos. Amara was seizing, her body convulsing, the monitors screaming. "She's in V-fib! Charging to 200! Clear!" Her body jolted. Nothing. Again. "Clear!" This time the monitor beeped. Weak, but steady. The doctor exhaled. "She's back, but barely." He turned to Dante. "If this happens again, we might not be able to bring her back. You need to prepare yourself." Dante's voice was low, deadly calm. "How long?" "Hours, maybe less." The doctor left. The nurses followed, and Dante stood there, staring at the woman who had run from him to protect their children. The woman who was dying because she loved too much. He walked to her bedside, sat down, took her hand. It was cold again. He leaned forward, his forehead almost touching hers. "I don't know how to do this without you." His voice cracked. "I don't know how to be soft, how to be safe, how to be anything other than what I am." He closed his eyes. "But I swear to you, if you fight, I'll fight. If you stay, I'll burn the whole world down to keep you here." Her fingers twitched, barely, but he felt it. He looked up. Her eyes were open, just slits, exhausted, but aware. "Dante?" Her voice was a whisper. "You have to let me go." "No. Please. No." He gripped her hand tighter. "You don't get to ask me that. You don't get to leave them. You don't get to leave me." A tear slid down her cheek. "I'm so tired. I know. I can't keep fighting. Then I'll fight for you." She smiled, sad, beautiful, heartbreaking. "You can't control death. Watch me." She closed her eyes. "I love you. Then stay." Her breathing slowed. Dante's chest felt like it was caving in. "Amara, stay." Nothing. "Amara." The monitor beeped. Slow, steady. She was still here, but slipping. Dante stayed by her side until dawn, and when Victor found him, he didn't need to say anything. Dante already knew. "You found one." Victor nodded. "A heart. Black market. Belgium. It's a match." Dante stood. "How fast can we get it here?" 12 hours. Maybe 10 if we push it." "Push it." Victor hesitated. "Boss, even if the heart arrives, there's no guarantee she'll survive the surgery." Dante's voice was steel. "There's no guarantee of anything, but I'd rather die trying than live knowing I didn't." Victor nodded and left. Dante looked back at Amara. "Hold on," he whispered. "Just a little longer." The twins were moved to a private room that afternoon. Healthy enough to leave the NICU, strong enough to survive without machines. A nurse brought them to Dante. "They're ready to be held," she said softly. Dante stared at the 2 tiny bundles. He had held weapons, held power, held men's lives in his hands. But this terrified him. The nurse placed Luca in his arms first. The baby was warm, solid, real. His eyes blinked open, dark, unfocused, searching. Dante's breath caught. "Hey," he said quietly. Luca stared at him. And then, a tiny hand reached up, grabbed Dante's finger, held on, tight. Dante's throat closed. The nurse placed Marco in his other arm. Now he was holding both of them. 2 lives, 2 futures, 2 reasons to become something better than what he was. Marco yawned. Luca's eyes drifted closed. And Dante sat there, in a hospital room, holding his sons, praying for a miracle he didn't deserve. The call came at 9 p.m. "The heart is in transit. ETA, 6 hours." Dante exhaled. He returned to the ICU. Amara was still unconscious. The doctor was waiting for him. "We've prepped the OR. The transplant team is on standby, but, Mr. Moretti, you need to understand. This surgery is experimental. High risk. Even with a perfect match, her body might reject the heart. She might not wake up." Dante's voice didn't waver. "What are her chances?" 20%, maybe less. "And without the surgery?" The doctor looked away. 0. Dante nodded. "Then we take the 20%. The doctor left to finalize preparations. Dante sat beside Amara one more time. He took her hand, leaned close. I know you're scared. I know you think I'm trying to control you. Maybe I am. He pressed his forehead to hers. But I'm not doing this because I want to own you. I'm doing this because I can't lose you. Not now. Not when we finally have a chance. Her heart monitor beeped. Faint. So fight. One more time, and I promise, when you wake up, I'll let you live. However you want. Wherever you want. His voice broke. Just don't leave me. The door opened. A nurse. The heart just landed. They're bringing it in now. Dante stood, kissed Amara's forehead. I'll see you on the other side. And he walked out, because if he stayed, he'd fall apart, and she needed him strong. The surgery took 11 hours. 11 hours of Dante pacing the waiting room like a caged animal. His men stood guard at every entrance. Victor brought him coffee. He didn't drink it. He couldn't eat, couldn't sit. Couldn't think about anything except the image of Amara on that operating table. Her chest open, her heart removed, a stranger's heart beating in its place. At hour 7, the twins started crying. A nurse had brought them to a private room nearby so Dante could stay close. He went to them, picked them both up, one in each arm. They quieted almost immediately. Marco nuzzled into his chest. Luca gripped his shirt with tiny fists. Dante sat in the rocking chair, and for the first time in 11 hours, he felt something other than fear. He felt purpose. Your mom is fighting, he whispered. And when she wakes up, she's going to meet you. Really meet you. Luca yawned. Marco's eyes fluttered closed. And I'm going to make sure you grow up knowing how much she loves you, how hard she fought, how brave she is. His voice cracked. Even if I have to do it alone. But he didn't want to do it alone. He wanted her. Alive. Awake. Whole. A knock on the door. Victor stepped in. Boss, the surgeon is out. Dante's heart stopped. He placed the twins carefully back in their bassinets and walked into the hallway. The surgeon was still in scrubs. Exhausted. Blood on his gloves. Dante couldn't read his face. Tell me. The surgeon exhaled. The transplant was successful. The heart is beating. Strong rhythm. No immediate rejection. Dante felt his knees weaken. She's alive? Yes. He closed his eyes. But, the surgeon continued. Dante's eyes snapped open. But what? She's in a medically induced coma. We won't know if there's brain damage or complications until we wake her up. And that won't be for at least 48 hours. 48 hours. Minimum. Her body needs time to stabilize. The next few days are critical. If she makes it through without rejection or infection, she has a chance. What kind of chance? The surgeon met his eyes. 50-50. Dante nodded slowly. When can I see her? She's in recovery now. Give us an hour. The surgeon left. Dante stood in the hallway, alone. And for the first time in years, he let himself feel it. The fear, the hope, the unbearable weight of loving something he couldn't control. He leaned against the wall and breathed. They led him into the recovery room an hour later. Amara was surrounded by machines, tubes, wires, monitors. But her chest was rising and falling, steady, strong. Dante sat beside her, took her hand. It was warmer now, not cold, not dying. Alive. He didn't say anything, just sat there, holding her hand, listening to the rhythm of her new heart, a heart that wasn't hers, but was keeping her alive anyway. Victor appeared in the doorway. Boss, we have a problem. Dante didn't look away from Amara. What kind of problem? The anonymous tip. We traced it. Now Dante looked up. Who? Victor's face was grim. Your brother. Dante's blood turned to ice. Matteo. Victor nodded. He's been watching her for months. He knew about the pregnancy, knew about her condition. He's the one who called you. Dante stood slowly. Why? We don't know yet. But he's made contact. He wants to meet. Dante's jaw clenched. Matteo. His younger brother. The one who had tried to take the family empire 3 years ago. The one Dante had exiled. The one who swore revenge. Where? The old port. Midnight. Dante looked back at Amara. She was stable, for now. But if Matteo was involved, nothing was stable. Double the guards here. No one gets in or out without clearance. Already done. Dante leaned down, kissed Amara's forehead. I'll be back. And he left. Because whatever Matteo wanted, it wasn't peace. The port was abandoned. Rusted shipping containers. Broken streetlights. The smell of salt and oil. Dante arrived with 6 men. Matteo was already there, leaning against a black SUV, arms crossed, smiling. He looked the same. Sharp suit, cold eyes, the same arrogance that had always made him dangerous. Brother, Matteo said. Dante stopped 10 feet away. Why? Matteo tilted his head. Why what? Why did I call you? Why did I tell you about your dying girlfriend and your miracle babies? Yes. Matteo pushed off the SUV. Because I wanted you to know what it feels like. What feels like? Losing everything. Dante's hand moved to the gun at his hip. Matteo laughed. Relax, I'm not here to kill you. Not yet. Then what do you want? Matteo's smile faded. You took everything from me. The family, the business, my future. You tried to kill me. And I failed, so you exiled me, made me nothing. Matteo stepped closer. But now you have something to lose. A woman, 2 sons, a family. Dante's voice was deadly calm. If you touch them, I won't. Matteo's smile returned. I don't need to. Because you're going to destroy it yourself. What are you talking about? Matteo pulled out a folder, tossed it at Dante's feet. That heart you bought for her? It didn't come from Belgium. Dante's blood went cold. What? It came from a donor. A 16-year-old girl, daughter of a federal judge. Matteo's eyes gleamed. A judge who's been investigating your operations for 2 years. A judge who's about to find out that his daughter's heart is keeping your girlfriend alive. Dante felt the ground shift beneath him. You set me up. I gave you a choice. Matteo stepped back. You can keep the heart. Save her. And watch the FBI tear your empire apart. He opened the SUV door. Or you can turn yourself in, confess, take the fall, and maybe, they'll let her live. He got in the car. Either way, you lose. The engine roared, Matteo drove away, and Dante stood there, in the darkness, with a decision that would destroy him no matter what he chose. Dante returned to the hospital at dawn. He hadn't slept, hadn't eaten. His mind was a battlefield. Matteo's words echoed in his skull. Either way, you lose. He sat in the waiting room, the folder in his hands. Inside were documents, medical records, a death certificate. Emma Catherine Morrison, age 16. Cause of death, traumatic brain injury, car accident, organ donor. Her heart had gone to Amara. And her father was federal judge Robert Morrison, the same judge leading the investigation into Dante's empire. It wasn't coincidence. It was precision. Matteo had orchestrated everything. The timing, the donor match, the transplant. He had set a trap, and Dante had walked right into it. Victor found him an hour later. Boss, the judge knows. Dante looked up. How? Anonymous tip. Same style as before. He's filing for an emergency injunction. He wants the heart removed. Removed? He's claiming it was obtained illegally, that you coerced the transplant, that his daughter's heart is being used to save a criminal's accomplice. Dante's fists clenched. Amara had nothing to do with this. Doesn't matter. He's calling it complicity. He wants her arrested, the twins placed in state custody. The words hit like bullets. When? 48 hours, maybe less. Dante stood. Get me a lawyer. The best one. I don't care what it costs. Victor hesitated. Boss, even the best lawyer can't fight this. The evidence is too clean. Matteo made sure of it. Dante's voice dropped. Then what do you suggest? Victor met his eyes. Run. Take her and the boys. Disappear. I can have you out of the country in 6 hours. She just had a transplant. She can't travel. Then leave her. Take the boys. Keep them safe. Dante turned on him. I'm not leaving her. Then you'll lose everything. I already have. He walked away. Went to the ICU. Amara was still unconscious. Still fighting. He sat beside her. Took her hand. I'm sorry, he whispered. I tried to save you, and I made everything worse. The monitor beeped steadily, her new heart, beating strong, keeping her alive. But it was also the chain that would destroy them. The doctor came by at noon. We're going to wake her up. Dante stood. Now? Her vitals are stable. If we wait any longer, the risk of complications increases. What do I need to do? The doctor looked at him. Be here. She'll be disoriented, scared. She needs to see a familiar face. Dante nodded. They reduced the sedation slowly. Dante watched the monitors, watched her breathing change, watched her fingers twitch, and then her eyes opened, barely, unfocused, but open. Amara. His voice was soft. She blinked, looked around, confused. Dante? Her voice was hoarse, weak, but it was hers. I'm here. She tried to sit up. Don't move. You just had surgery. Surgery? Her hand went to her chest. Felt the bandages. What happened? You got a new heart. She stared at him. A heart? You were dying. I found a donor. You're alive. Tears filled her eyes. The babies? They're perfect, healthy, safe. She closed her eyes. Thank God. Dante gripped her hand. Amara, there's something you need to know. She opened her eyes. What? He told her everything. The donor, the judge, Matteo's trap, the injunction, the threat to take the twins. By the time he finished, she was crying. So, I'm the reason they'll take them? No, I'm the reason. Dante, this is my fault, my life, my choices. He leaned closer. But I'm going to fix it. How? He didn't answer, because he didn't know. Not yet. That night, Dante sat alone in his car, parked outside the hospital, engine off, phone in his hand. He stared at the screen. One call. That's all it would take. One call to turn himself in. One call to end this. His empire for their freedom. His life for theirs. It was a trade he would make 1,000 times. But something stopped him. Not fear, not pride. A memory. Amara's voice, weeks ago, before she ran. You can't save everyone by sacrificing yourself, Dante. Sometimes the bravest thing is staying alive and changing. He had laughed at her then. Told her she didn't understand his world. But now he understood hers. She hadn't run because she was weak. She ran because she refused to let his darkness swallow their light. And now he had a choice. Die a martyr. Or live a changed man. His phone buzzed. A text from Victor. Judge Morrison wants to meet. Alone. Tomorrow. 6 a.m. Dante stared at the message. A meeting. Not an arrest. Why? He typed back. Where? His daughter's grave. Dante's chest tightened. He replied, I'll be there. The cemetery was quiet. Morning fog clung to the ground like ghosts. Dante walked through the rows of headstones. His men stayed at the entrance. This was something he had to do alone. He found Judge Morrison standing in front of a white marble headstone. Emma Catherine Morrison. Beloved daughter. Brave soul. Forever 16. The judge didn't turn around. She wanted to be a doctor. His voice was broken. She volunteered at hospitals, talked about saving lives. And now, he finally looked at Dante. Now her heart is keeping your criminal empire alive. Dante stepped closer. I didn't know. Would it have mattered? Yes. The judge's eyes narrowed. Why should I believe you? Because I have sons now, and if someone used them the way I used your daughter, I'd burn the world down. The judge's jaw tightened. Then you understand why I want you destroyed. I do. Silence. The wind rustled through the trees. Dante spoke quietly. Your daughter saved the woman I love. She gave her a future, a chance to raise our boys. He paused. I can't undo what I am. Can't erase the things I've done. But I can honor what your daughter gave us. How? Dante met his eyes. By walking away. The judge frowned. What? I'm dismantling my empire. All of it. I'm liquidating assets, cutting ties, burning it to the ground. No successors. No legacy. You expect me to believe that? I expect you to verify it. Dante pulled out a folder. Handed it to the judge. Bank transfers, legal documents, recorded confessions from my inner circle implicating themselves, not others. Enough to close your investigation without collateral damage. The judge opened the folder. Read. His hands shook. This is... everything. Yes. Why? Dante looked at the headstone. Because your daughter gave mine a heartbeat, and I won't dishonor that by building a future on blood. The judge closed the folder. If you're lying, I'm not. If you rebuild, I won't. Then what will you do? Dante's voice was steady. Be a father. The judge studied him for a long moment, then nodded slowly. I'll review this. If it's legitimate, the injunction will be dropped. And Amara? She'll be cleared. No charges. No investigation. The twins? Safe. Dante exhaled. Thank you. The judge's expression hardened. Don't thank me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it because my daughter believed in second chances, even for people who didn't deserve them. He turned back to the headstone. Now get out of my sight. Dante left, and for the first time in his life, he felt free. 3 weeks later, Amara was discharged from the hospital. Her recovery was slow but steady. The new heart was strong. No rejection, no complications, a miracle in every sense. Dante had sold everything. The estates, the businesses, the empire. Gone. He kept one thing. A small house outside the city. Quiet, private, safe. White walls, large windows, a nursery painted soft blue. It wasn't a fortress. It was a home. Amara stood in the living room holding Luca. Dante held Marco. The twins were awake, staring at everything with wide, curious eyes. This is really it? Amara asked softly. Dante looked at her. This is it. No empire, no power, no control. Just us. She smiled. I never thought I'd see this side of you. Neither did I. He stepped closer. I'm not good at this yet. Being soft. Being present. Being normal. You don't have to be perfect. I want to be. For them. For you. She reached up and touched his face. You already are. He kissed her. Gentle. Full of promises he intended to keep. Marco made a small noise. Luca yawned. They both laughed. I think someone's hungry, Amara said. I'll get the bottles. Dante walked to the kitchen. As he prepared the formula, he glanced out the window. No guards, no threats, no shadows, just sunlight. And for the first time in his life, he wasn't afraid of the future. He returned to the living room, sat beside Amara on the couch, handed her Luca's bottle, held Marco close and fed him slowly. The baby's eyes drifted closed, content, safe, loved. Amara leaned her head on Dante's shoulder. Do you miss it? Miss what? The power, the empire. Dante looked at his sons. At the woman whose heart kept beating because of a stranger's sacrifice. At the life he never thought he'd have. No, he said quietly. I don't miss it at all. And he meant it. 6 months later. Dante stood in the backyard. Marco and Luca were on a blanket in the grass, rolling, giggling, discovering the world one tiny moment at a time. Amara walked outside with lemonade. She looked healthy now. Color in her cheeks, strength in her step, life. She sat beside him. I got a letter today. From who? Judge Morrison. Dante looked at her. What did it say? She handed him the envelope. Inside was a single handwritten note. "Thank you for honoring my daughter's gift. I see her heart is in good hands." Dante's throat tightened. Amara took his hand. "You did the right thing. I should have done it sooner. You did it when it mattered." Marco started crying. Luca joined in immediately. Dante laughed. They have perfect timing, just like their father. He kissed her forehead and stood, walked over to the twins, picked them both up. All right, I'm here." They quieted, stared at him with identical dark eyes. "You two are trouble," he murmured, but he was smiling. Amara watched from the blanket, her hand resting on her chest, feeling the steady beat of a heart that wasn't hers, but had become hers, a heart that had saved her, a heart that had saved all of them. She closed her eyes and whispered a silent thank you. To Emma, to second chances, to the impossible becoming possible. That night, after the twins were asleep, Dante and Amara sat on the porch. The stars were bright. The air was warm. Everything was quiet. Amara leaned against him. "I love you. I love you too. Do you think we'll be okay?" Dante looked at her. "I think we already are." She smiled. "What happens next?" "I don't know," he admitted. "But whatever it is, we'll face it together." She kissed him. And for a moment, the world was nothing but them. But in the distance, a car pulled up slowly, engine idling, headlights off. Dante noticed, his body tensed. "Stay here. Dante, stay here." He stood, walked toward the driveway. The car door opened. A figure stepped out. Tall. Familiar. Matteo. Dante's fists clenched. Matteo raised his hands. "I'm not here to fight." "Then why are you here?" Matteo stepped into the light. He looked different. Tired. Worn. "I came to tell you. You won." Dante frowned. "What?" "I tried to destroy you. Tried to take everything. But you gave it all away before I could." Matteo's voice cracked. "You became something I never could." "And what's that?" "Free." Silence. Matteo looked at the house, at the warm lights inside. "You have a family now. A real one." He met Dante's eyes. "I envy you." "Then change." "It's too late for me." "It's never too late." Matteo smiled sadly. "You always were the better man." He turned to leave. "Matteo." He stopped. "If you ever want to try, really try, you know where to find me." Matteo didn't respond, just got in the car and drove away. Dante watched until the taillights disappeared, then returned to the porch. Amara was standing now. Who was that? A ghost. Is he coming back? Dante looked at her. "I don't know. Are you afraid?" He thought about it, then shook his head. "No." "Why not?" "Because I have something worth protecting now, and I'll do whatever it takes to keep it safe." She took his hand. "We'll keep it safe." He smiled. Together. They walked inside, closed the door, locked it. And somewhere in the nursery, 2 tiny heartbeats continued. Strong. Steady. Alive. The end? Or is it? Because in the shadows. Matteo sat in his car, phone in hand, staring at a message. "Your brother thinks he's won, but empires don't die, they evolve. Are you ready to rebuild?" Matteo's finger hovered over the reply button. And slowly, he smiled,